And now for 7 Minutes With, which will feature a short interview each month with the leader of a distribution or manufacturing company.
I'm Janelle Selden-Holtmeyer, Associate Editor of Modern Distribution Management, and today I'm talking with Vic Jury, President and CEO of Summit Electric Supply in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Hi, Vic. How are you today?
Very good. How are you today?
I'm doing well. So now that we're 3/4 of the way through 2011, how has the year been for Summit?
Well, it's been much better than 2010. We're up a little over 20% and have a number of encouraging areas of business that continue to show some strength. Probably the key reason being that we've really tried to analyze and diversify our business in some segments that we had been underemphasizing in the past.
Are there specific areas where you're seeing some of that strength?
Those areas tend to be in the industrial, MRO, and infrastructure side of the business, both domestically and internationally. We have a growing international business. That emphasis is almost entirely on industrial infrastructure. We have a full branch operation in Dubai right now and have sales activity going on across the Middle East and Latin America.
What are some of the trends that are driving the electrical sector right now?
One of the hot trends in general is the so-called green or energy efficiency market. There's a fair amount of activity on the solar side and on the lighting retrofit side in our industry where there are reasonably decent paybacks for the investments that are made with regard to the lighting side. And then on the solar side, depending on the utility and the area, there are a number of subsidies that tend to make solar work for people. We're also seeing continued growth and strength in the area of industrial infrastructure and MRO activity where plants that may have been deferring maintenance or expansion projects or other things are making investments again.
It seems community service is really a core cultural philosophy there. Why is this such an important part of the business?
Giving back to our communities is something that's been ingrained in our culture. In the past 34 years, we found giving not only benefits our communities, but builds loyalty and teamwork and stronger relationships with our associates, which are essential elements to business success that money itself can't buy. Another key thing that we've always believed is I have a philosophy I call holistic philanthropy, which is in contrast to what I call checkbook philanthropy, where frankly most of us tend to gravitate because it's easy. We write a check and we feel good about what we've done. But in the concept of holistic philanthropy, we try to take a multidimensional approach to our community activities where we donate not only our wealth in the form of financial giving, but we donate our work in the form of actually giving time and energy, and our wisdom in the form of serving on boards and committees or other teams to share our experiences and knowledge. Quite frankly, it also is a great way for us to develop a broader view of our communities and understanding of our communities. We tend to look at several aspects. We look, first of all, at elements of stewardship. We try to look for programs that focus on very efficient use of resources and manage the donations in a very efficient way. In our experience, when those organizations are not careful with those things, their effectiveness is not very high either. So we look at that. We look at impact in the community. We look at what our associates care strongly about. We've always tended to focus on organizations that are inclined to either come alongside of helping people who can't help themselves. In many cases, we also try to support organizations that do microfinance type lending and things where they're encouraging entrepreneurialism and growth. And then finally, we try to encourage active participation, both financially and from our team, in organizations like Junior Achievement, because we think that, frankly, one of our challenges as a nation is that there is a shameful level of economic illiteracy that exists across our nation at all levels, including a number of people in Washington, D.C. And we think that economic literacy is a rather important component of a capitalist society.
Switching gears a little bit, what role do internships play at Summit?
We consider them a very important part of our overall recruitment strategy. Obviously, one of the things that many students lack when they're involved in just the academic side of pursuing a degree is a real-world sense of how a business in the distribution industry works. So our idea is that internships are a very valuable part of someone being able to size up whether we're a fit for them, and quite frankly, it's our opportunity to decide whether they're a fit for us. We've been doing internships since the late 80s, and we've done it through UNK and Texas A&M.
So this final question is one that we ask all of the executives that we talk to. What are the three things that you think should keep managers up at night right now? In other words, what are the three things that you view as the most important for managers to be keeping front of mind?
Certainly for me in my 34 years in this industry, things have never been less predictable in terms of where things are going from an economic perspective. And I think that the implications of a double-dip recession or a protracted, rather stagnant recovery are things that go against our experience in the past and, quite frankly, are things that we're not overly well prepared to navigate. I think it's pretty critical that people think in terms of avoiding wishful optimism that would result in making imprudent bets on a recovery based on very short-term signs that may not have any staying power. A subset of that, I think, is frankly worrying about their ability to capitalize their business. There's no doubt that the money is there. The problem is because of the regulatory environment, it's very difficult for bankers to feel comfortable lending money because right now the rules are still being written and are constantly changing for them. I talked to a number of my banker friends along the way, and it's a very frustrating time for bankers. Well, that translates into them not being able to provide the level of support that most of us are accustomed to seeing in historical terms. Additionally, I think that distributors need to stay up nights thinking about pricing and profit margins in a way that breaks some historic patterns. Most distributors that I'm familiar with across different distributor industries still tend to give flat rate margins across product groups and across customer segments that don't really reflect good economics and that in many cases are just rather fragile in terms of how they work together to create a profit equation for those distributors. And then I guess finally the thing that I think distributors need to be looking at is the possible implication of what I call selective disintermediation, where across different product categories and customer segments, the distributor value equation is not as strong as potentially alternative channels or alternative ways to market, including direct sales by manufacturers. When times are good, it's rather easy for people to stick with the status quo because they're busy. But when times are bad and there's an oversupply or overcapacity in the manufacturing side, it puts a lot of pressure on the distributor to make sure that they're paying attention to their value proposition and that they're providing their customers across different segments and across different product categories with an appropriate level of value to ensure that that distributor maintains a position with the customer on those products.
Well, those are some very interesting things to think about. Vic, thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.